Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today, we're going to dive into a heartfelt and emotional journey, following Huyen, Maya, Dee, and Adam as they reunite after a long time apart, face the quiet tension of lurking danger, and travel back to their hometown, where memories, warmth, and new challenges await. If you enjoy this story, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos. Late in the afternoon, the last light of day stretched along the narrow alley, casting a golden sheen over the weathered, patchy walls. Footsteps echoed in a quick rhythm, like a heartbeat weighed down by a quiet, unspoken worry. A young friend had just returned from a long journey. Traces of fatigue still lingered in their eyes, yet deep within, a faint but steady flame of determination burned. In front of a slightly ajar iron gate, they stopped, taking a deep breath as if gathering every bit of courage before knocking. Inside, the murmur of conversation fell abruptly silent. The door creaked open, revealing a familiar face, eyes wide, caught between surprise and confusion. The air between them seemed to freeze, broken only by the faint whisper of wind slipping through the gap. A slow smile formed, but behind it lingered a chain of memories still raw and tender. They stood there, neither rushing to speak, for any word at this moment would weigh heavy as 1,000 stones. At last, the visitor stepped inside, carrying with them the fragile joy of reunion, tempered by the quiet unease of truths yet to surface. The warmth of the room held a thin veil of caution, like the stillness before an unbroken storm. The first to react to the noise outside was Maya. Her tiny bare feet pattered quickly across the floor, dark hair bouncing with each eager step. Spotting the familiar silhouette of Dee, she froze for a beat. Then her eyes lit up as though she had stumbled upon a long-awaited gift. "Uncle Day!" Her voice rang out, high and clear, trembling with excitement. Day dropped to one knee, arms open wide. Maya darted forward, burying herself into his embrace. The small warmth of her body seeped into his chest. His hand trembled slightly as he stroked her soft hair, but his gaze brimmed with tenderness. From the doorway, Huyen stood still, watching. Her heart tightened. Months of waiting, sleepless nights, all distilled into this single moment. Yet within the joy, a taut string of worry wound itself tighter. She knew Dee's return was not merely a homecoming. It marked the beginning of a new and turbulent chapter. Adam followed closely behind, carrying a small gift bag. His deep voice softened as he handed Maya a box of milk. She accepted it, sipping while keeping her eyes locked on Dee, as though afraid that looking away might make him vanish. The small house seemed to glow brighter, but somewhere beneath it all, a current of unspoken tension quietly bided its time. That afternoon, the sky began to shift. Dark clouds gathered, and a cold wind threaded through the leaves, carrying with it the scent of an oncoming storm, and something heavier still. From the window, Huyen gazed down the winding dirt road. In the distance, several unfamiliar figures appeared, walking slowly, their sharp eyes sweeping across the surroundings. Without a word, Dee stepped outside, leaning casually against the faded wooden door frame, as if nothing was amiss. Adam moved closer and spoke in a low tone. "They're scouting. Best to stay alert." The strangers passed without stopping, but the unease they left behind clung to the air like damp cloth. Huyen felt as though an invisible rope had tightened around her chest. Maya, crouched in a corner clutching her cloth doll, looked up with a mixture of curiosity and worry. "Mom, who are they looking for?" she whispered. Huyen squeezed her daughter's hand and forced a smile. "It's nothing, sweetheart," she said, though her voice quivered faintly. When the strangers had disappeared from sight, Adam motioned for everyone to gather. "We need a plan. If 2V left because of danger, then that danger is still here." Dee nodded, his eyes hardening. "I'll go out tonight, see what I can learn. In the meantime, pack the essentials in case we need to leave without warning." Outside, the wind hissed through the bamboo groves, and the restless rustle of leaves sounded like a cryptic warning from far away. The train rumbled steadily along, gliding past fields of golden rice nearing the end of harvest. The orange glow of sunset spilled through the window, wrapping Huyen's face in a warm yet wistful light. She sat close to Maya, gently holding her small hand, feeling its warmth seep into her palm. Within Huyen, sorrow and hope swirled together like faint smoke. She hadn't lived long in this new place, yet every street and glance had already etched themselves into memory. Leaving was not easy, but when she thought of Maya's future, her heart leaned toward home. Across from her, Day sat quietly, his calm gaze seeming to read the thoughts she had never spoken. She felt a quiet gratitude for him, for weathering the storms by her side, offering shelter without expectation. A faint smile touched her lips. "From now on, we'll try harder," she murmured. The clinking of steel beneath the wheels seemed to echo in reply. She turned to Maya. "We're getting close, honey. Go wash your hands." The cold water made Maya pull back with a giggle, yet her eyes sparkled with innocent joy. "Uncle D is so handsome," she teased, setting off laughter among the three of them. The loudspeaker crackled to life, announcing the train's approach to Bimsan Station. Huyen gripped her bag tightly and drew in a deep breath. Ahead lay her hometown, a place familiar, yet lined with its own rough roads. The train slowed, brakes screeching, and the world outside eased into stillness, carrying them into a new chapter. The road from the station to the village wound between rows of tall bamboo, leaves whispering in the breeze. The sky hung like a thin silk cloth, dyed deep violet, with a few stubborn streaks of gold clinging to the horizon. Huyen walked beside Day, holding Maya's tiny hand. Their footsteps blended with the countryside's evening symphony of crickets and cicadas, both strange and familiar. A rattling, three-wheeled taxi bounced over potholes, making Maya burst into peals of laughter with each jolt. Huyen instinctively pulled her daughter closer. Beyond the window, rice paddies stretched endlessly, the faint scent of fresh straw drifting in. In that moment, Huyen felt herself return to childhood, running barefoot along the dikes, hearing her mother's voice calling her home for dinner, the flicker of an oil lamp in the small kitchen. Day leaned toward her. "Nervous?" he asked softly. "Yes," she admitted, smiling, but at peace. In his eyes, the glow of distant street lamps reflected like small lighthouses guiding them toward a new beginning. The taxi stopped at the village gate, where the shadow of an ancient banyan tree stretched long across the ground. The breeze carried the scent of damp earth and cooking fires. "Mama, it smells so good," Maya exclaimed, filling her lungs with the air. Huyen laughed, warmth blooming in her chest. Ahead, the red brick road leading into the village unfurled like both a welcome and a promise for the days to come. Dinner was served in the small kitchen, bathed in the gentle yellow glow of the lamp. On the tray sat bright red river prawns and golden eggs, fresh from the pond and chicken coop that very morning, carrying the comforting scent of the countryside. Huyen, Day, Maya, and Adam sat around the table as Grandma Them smiled warmly, serving food. "Eat up. The prawns were caught this morning. The eggs laid today," she said. Adam shared stories of working in the South, long, dusty days under the sun. Grandma listened, her eyes holding a mix of pride and quiet concern. The clink of chopsticks mingled with soft laughter and the faint night breeze outside, forming a gentle melody of rural life. The simple meal brimmed with both flavor and affection, filling the empty spaces in the hearts of those who had been far from home. After dinner, Grandma Them quickly cleared the table and prepared sleeping arrangements for Huyen, Dee, and Maya. The old wooden house glowed warmly under the lamplight, carrying the faint scent of timber and dried straw from its thatched roof. A thick quilt was laid neatly, pillows arranged with care, each detail speaking of the tenderness of a grandmother's hands. They gathered again to finish their conversation, sharing hopes that Adam would soon return home for good, to work the fields and eat dinner together every night. Maya giggled while playing with the family dog Bibi, her small hands stroking its soft fur, eyes bright as she watched the chickens, ducks, and cats wander about the yard. Outside, the songs of crickets and frogs blended with their warm voices, painting a picture of village life at night. Beneath the familiar roof, in the breeze carrying the scent of grass and fields, they found a rare peace, one that years in distant lands had never been able to offer. After a long journey, Day returns, reuniting with little Maya and her mother, Huyen. Their joy is genuine, but shadowed by an unspoken tension, as strangers in the village seem to be searching for someone. With Adam's warning, they prepare for possible danger. Soon after, Huyen decides to return to her hometown for Maya's future. On the train ride, memories and gratitude mix with hope for a new beginning. Arriving in the countryside, they are greeted by familiar sights, warm scents, and the welcoming arms of Grandma Them. Over a simple but heartwarming dinner, laughter and conversation fill the air. That night, under the quiet roof of the old wooden house, surrounded by the gentle sounds of village life, they find a rare sense of peace, though they know change and challenges may still lie ahead.